Toodly doo. Why, howdy there. Right away, sir. Yes, sir. Right away, sir. Yes, sir. Hello. The beacons. I guess the beacons are lit. I'm kind of stoked. I had fun with Salt Rackus, and today it returns. The mad worm god has returned. The fuck is a writings election, man? Nice sunny day. Oh yeah. It's, always beautiful here. District. Well, good for you. Out there taking part in the process and everything. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Where are you? Where are you? What up, blood? What up, cud? What up, thug? What up, gangsta? You could play a mean Santa Claus about 15 years, you think? I've already done it. I've already played Santa. I'm a mad decent Santa. I gotta tell you. Is there a general topic, or you just talk, or whatever? Yeah, we just kind of hang out. I'm gonna spark up a fat fucking doobie if that's okay with everybody here. Does anybody have sensitivities? If so, make sure you make yourself known. By P. Diddy. Bend down, oil up. You know what I'm talking about. You know. %. 100% the chillest guy on live. Period. Favorite strain? I like this one called Weed. You ever had that one? That's my favorite strain. It's this strain called dank weed. You ever had it? When did I start smoking? I'm talking weed. 93. I got high for the first time in 1993. And boy, was it good. Stop smoking? No, I'm gonna keep smoking. Thanks, though. Enjoy your band, I guess. What it do? What it do? Man, it is so fucking cold. Summer's not coming, guys. I don't even think spring is coming. It's just winter out here again. Where do I live? In a house. In the forest. Am I Jesus? Could be. Could be. 13, I'm smoking weed because my parents are dead. Bye. Have fun with those dead parents. Yeah. I feel like if it gets much colder, this could turn into snow. I'd rather not have that happen. But I'm pretty sure that 3 or 4 more degrees worth of drop and we're going to be getting snow again. Whoo-wee! Hoo-wee! Yeah, let me just fall face first into the world's most obvious ligma attempt. Like, dude, I hate to have to explain it to people, but I always do. I was doing internet pranks and trolling and bullshit before your parents ever met, let alone fucked. You don't get to try and pull these on me. You got to get up too early in the morning to get one over on Paul's ego, okay? Way too early. There's something to the idea that a lot of jobs just exist now to make it seem like the job market is growing when it's actually not. Yeah, I think for a while now that there have been quite a few people working these zombie jobs that like really provide no benefit, but are more of an investment by the company and staving off the coming market collapse. Like I feel like it's a way for them to dance around the UBI. Yeah, 100%. Terrible morning. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, I hope it gets better. Mine so far is okay. I like the sound of the birds singing in the morning. Me too. And the frogs. I got frogs too. Everything is singing right now. That high pitched little beep 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 beep. That's a nuthatch. That's what those are called, nuthatches. They're the cutest little birds, man. They're like literal. If you took a little meatball and put wings on it, they're literally perfectly round little turds. And when they sing, they pull their neck in so their whole body becomes round, and they go. Rah, 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 rah. Oof. Sick and miserable. That sucks. Chicken soup for the soul. Sending positive vibes. Do you have a trick or go-to for comebacks? I feel like in times when I've dealt with bullies in life, I like quick, witty responses. Should I get a book of comebacks or something? I don't know, man. I think it's more about developing the ability to come back on your own, right? Because like you you start going to a book and you're gonna start repeating yourself a lot. You need to allow yourself to be in the moment. I think the key is don't get flustered when somebody says something mean or out of pocket to you, right? Immediately your mind needs to be like a machine, right? When that happens, you shut out all embarrassment, you shut out all awkwardness. You focus on the person that said the stupid shit to you. And this is where it gets hard. You really got to be a student of humanity. You have to be able to look at a person and make a really educated guess what their greatest fucking secret is, or their greatest fear, or their greatest insecurity, right? That's what you're looking for. I don't think comebacks books work. I think you've got to become evil. You've got to start looking at people and going like, what is this person afraid of in their life? What does this person hope nobody notices about them? What is this person insecure about with themselves? Right? Because they've attacked your insecurity, you've just got to double down. You've got to find it. You've got to find it within yourself. Pardon me. Ever had a burn that was so bad you didn't even want to say it? Oh yeah, dude. I've held back lots of burns in my life. Lots. That's another key to it, is you got to know what, like, you want to escalate slightly when somebody comes at you, but you don't want to, you know what I mean? You don't want to you don't want to be too quick about it. You got to be, because if you go too deep, then it's You know what I mean? So you got to have that self edit too. That's too much. That's gonna come off fucking awkward, right? You seem like a bully. I kind of am, yeah. I think it's a hard truth about me, or at the very least, I was kind of bully-esque in school, maybe a little bit. I of course I was also bullied. There is a people don't realize this, but there is a food chain of bullying, right? But yeah, I was a pretty mean little son of a bitch sometimes. Yeah, going for the instant death move. For how long? I don't know, man. It's hard to say. Like, probably started right around like sixth grade or something. I remember picking on nerdy kids in the sixth grade a little bit. Of course, I got my ass kicked by a bully in the sixth grade too. Like there was a, and I feel like sometimes the kids we picked on kind of like had it coming, but maybe that's just post hoc justification for being a little asshole. But there was this kid, we used to call him retarded Fu Manchu because he would threaten to beat you up a lot. Like he was a kid that was trying to be a bully, but nobody was afraid of him, kind of. And so we called him retarded Fu Manchu because when he threatened to fight you, he got in like a karate stance or whatever. Is your dad on par with your meanness? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. My dad knows how to be mean for sure. He isn't a mean person. I don't think that like at the core of him is meanness, but he's definitely got the capacity to be pretty mean if he wants to be. But you know, it's one of those things. Yeah, let's give all sixth graders a fat dose of psychedelics so they can have an ego death experience. No, when it comes to just how things are in this country, and I don't know that it's the best way that it could be, so I'm not advocating for it to be this way forever, but I do genuinely believe that, like, part of going to school, part of growing up, is learning to deal with adversity. There are going to be people that come and get in your face in life. There are going to be people that say shitty things. There are going to be people that want to make your life bad, right? And you're gonna have to deal with that shit. And that's kind of how it was when I was in school. Any shittiness that I did was kind of like part of the shittiness economy, right? Like you had to be a certain amount of shitty to stand up on your 2 feet, right? But it hardens you up. You know what I mean? There are very few things people can say to me that really impinge on anything. You know what I mean? Like, I've heard it all. Trust me. I've heard it all and then some. This current generation is a paradox, both the most sensitive and insensitive generation ever. Well, it's because the internet. Like, I hate to be that guy, but it's because of the internet. The internet creates a kind of hyper reality, and kids are especially susceptible to it. And we live in a country that doesn't have any rules or regulations on these social media companies, even though now we know that these social media sites and the kind of short form content and stuff that lands on them is incredibly addicting. And we know that it's also a place where people's antisocial tendencies tend to come bubbling straight to the surface. And yet there's not even anybody talking about limiting children's access to this in any way. It's just not even a topic, right? But I believe that the internet, like being raised by the internet, as so many kids are now, creates a kind of solipsism. That would explain the hypersensitivity and the hyper insensitivity, right? I think it creates a kind of functional solipsism where a child believes that they are the star of their own social media empire, however small it is, and that what they say on there doesn't really matter because it's in service of being funny or being cool or whatever the fuck it is, right? It creates a kind of I'm the only thing in the world that really exists and none of this is real kind of mentality in children, which I think is super destructive, right? It is antisocial by nature. Yeah. Well, I mean, these social media sites algorithmically feed you content that they know is going to keep you captivated, right? It is one thing for an adult human being with an upbringing to decide to wade into those muddy waters and indulge their dopamine loop, right? And it's another thing to hand your 10-year-old a fucking cell phone and unleash them on the world, right? And let that be how they learn to socialize with people. Well, it's one of those things, you know. I personally think that we either one of two things needs to happen with the internet. Either we as humanity need to choose, and I think that this is very unlikely. I think both of these are very unlikely, to be honest with you, but I think that we as humanity need to choose, at the very least, to keep our children away from it. But maybe even more all-encompassingly, to step back from it quite a bit ourselves, right? And to start looking at it for what it is, just a giant time sink, right? Either that, or heavily regulate the space. Acquiesce to the fact that this is the new public space. This is where you pull up your Apple box and stand on it and give a speech to the public and try and sway opinion. This is where that happens. This is where human interaction is taking place, right? More and more every year, more traditionally in-person human interaction moves to this, right? And so we start regulating now, where it's already too late to save some of these people, some of these kids, but maybe if it's taken seriously now, there's a chance that the government could intervene and maybe do a little bit of fucking regulation to make this place usable for human beings. Don't trauma dump, bro. Nobody in here knows you. This isn't a self-help group. It's not a fucking grief counseling center. The moral conundrum of not wanting your kid to be outcasted by their peers for no cell phone use versus heavily regulating or restricting access to phones and social media. Yeah. I mean, there are happy mediums. You can absolutely fundamentally, like, if you have an iPhone, right? You can lock down that iPhone to the point of not only selecting which apps your child can and can't use, but also putting a timer on each of those apps to restrict how much your child uses it. So it's not even a like, hey, you don't get a cell phone. It's more like you can have a cell phone, but you're not going to have these shitty apps, and the ones that you do have access to, you're going to get about 20 minutes a day, and that's going to be that. Timer's running. You can restrict what times of days anything other than calling out and texting out is available, right? Like, you can be like, okay, well, my kid is at school from 7:30 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. So their phone unlocks at 2:45. You know what I mean? No, no. That's just wrong, Miss Trunchbull. Kids cannot, this is not the movie Hackers. Kids cannot find their way around Apple parental controls if you're an active parent, right? There are reports that are generated by Apple parental controls that you have access to on your device, right? You can see fuckery. So no. Just no. A fucking 10-year-old is not going to jailbreak an iPhone and set up a dual boot on the iPhone so that when you come around, they boot back into the parental side. No, no, no. It ain't gonna happen, bro. You can't even hook it into a computer and bypass it. Apple parental controls are like industry standard. They still do. They still make so-called dumb phones that are entirely only for, they're like, a modern version of like a Nokia brick. They even make them in like iPhone-like form factors now. But they're entirely incapable of accessing the internet. They're incapable of doing anything other than texting and receiving and sending calls. Android has parental controls. My understanding of it, being quite a few years old now, is that Android's parental controls are not up to par with Apple's parental controls. In terms of, being like the wealth of options that come out of the box. Now, with an Android, you kind of have the option to install those things yourself, right? So there are third-party apps on Android that'll let you lock down your phone, maybe even better than out-of-the-box iPhone controls, right? But it's just that extra step. Yep, that's 100% how the Apple shit works. You set a hard time limit, not only a time limit, but times of the day, which apps are available, right? You set it up exactly to your liking. You give the kid 10 minutes on each app or whatever you decide is normal or feasible. And then the great thing about it is you treat it just like any other privilege that the kid has, right? So if the kid does well in school, stays out of trouble, right? Then, maybe you could like say, hey, we'll give you a little more freedom on the phone. I'll extend, I'll give you access to this app, or I'll, let you text a little later, right? But if your kid's fucking up, guess what? That 10 minutes a day just became 5. You want to earn that 5 minutes back, get the grades up. You know what I mean? That type of shit is super important to kids. Yeah, it's possible to do it on Android, and I would assume that since I worked with Android and Apple environments, that Android has probably caught up to Apple in a lot of ways. I don't have jack shit worth of experience on Android devices in the last 6 or 7 years, so it really is just incumbent, because like there are other things you can do too. I mean, there is like super detailed monitoring that you could do when your child is hooked up to your network. And there are apps that will dump a report on usage as soon as that network gets touched, right? So what I mean is like as soon as your kid comes home from school and their phone auto connects to your home wireless, you get an entirely discrete dump of everything that child did during the day, how long they were on their phone, every text they sent, right? So, and this is all just like kind of like almost out of the box type of shit. Install the app, set it up, and let it go. You know what I mean? So it's just parents are not like the amount of kids that have what seems to be unfettered and unrestricted access to the internet at large can only be blamed on just either parental ignorance or just like, I don't know what else you would say, like parental disinterest, just parental neglect, I guess, would be the other one. Won't this lead to a black market of dark phones? Is your 10-year-old gonna buy a dark phone? We're talking about kids. We're not talking about international elite hackers. We're talking about grade schoolers and middle schoolers, you know what I mean? A 16-year-old might. Well, I tell you what, dude. If a 16-year-old can pull off an op like that right up under your nose, then you're not really doing a great job as a parent. You know what I mean? All of a sudden my kid isn't using their phone anymore. Let me just keep an eye on them and see if they're switching out their phone. Oh, they got a burner. Guess what? Now the burner's mine. Now the credit card is mine. Now your real phone is mine. Now you're out of communication with the world. Here's a beeper. I'll page you to call me from the school phone. See what I mean? I don't get it. It's just like it's a teenager. They have silly putty for brains. They're legit stupid. Like, that's just human psychology. Their brain is like partially formed. Like, that's all you gotta do is just catch their little dumb ass in the act and then take it away. Like, kids are retarded. That's why they're a protected class. Until you're about 18, 19 years old, you're functionally retarded. 110%. And your parents have to fucking help you so you don't fall down and bump your head. or poop your pants in public. Kids are retarded. You're talking about a kid running an op, right? You're talking about a middle schooler running an op on his parents and having a burner phone. Go find the videos of those middle schoolers blowing up at the Minecraft movie. These motherfuckers are operating at about a fucking 4-year-old brain capacity, bro. These are not like international super criminals just looking to like jailbreak their phone and hack their mom and circumvent every parental, yeah, chicken jockey. That's what they're turned up for. Here's another thing you need to realize. Kids these days, the days of kids knowing how to do fuckery on computers is over. Kids are computer retarded. They literally treat computers the same way my grandma treated computers before she passed. Everything's touchscreen. Everything's phone now. You don't need to know. So kids can't do all the crazy fucking shit. Like all this shit you're worried about, jailbreaking and circumvention, hacking the iPhone and stuff, will require them to be able to sit in front of a fucking keyboard and hit a power button. These kids are literal my grandma retarded on computers. So don't act like they're getting around it. Most are completely OS illiterate. If you hand them anything that isn't a mobile OS, they can't get around in it. They can't find a file folder and open it. They can't drag and drop a file from one folder to another. I mean, the literal basics. Literal can't. Yeah, there's outliers. I guess maybe your kid is zero cool, right? But we don't really need to talk about that because that's an utterly unique situation. Maybe your kid is zero cool from hackers and he hacks the NASDAQ at 8 years old. But that probably isn't your retarded skibbity toilet kid. Your retarded skibbity toilet kid watches a man's head pop out of a toilet and doubles over laughing at it all day long. He's not hacking the NASDAQ. He's not circumventing Fort Knox's fucking digital protections. Okay? Gong, 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 gong. See what I mean? I think you guys are worrying about like maybe 2 generations of kids ago. Yeah, this generation, I wouldn't worry about it. This generation, you got to turn them around so they don't piss into the wind. The intuition is gone. Classes don't matter anymore, bro. We have been doing look into this. It's called social promotion. So at a certain point, the school system, dysfunctional as it is, realized that it's probably more harmful to keep a kid who should be in 6th grade in the 3rd grade. Probably more harmful for that kid and for the other kids in class with that big dumb oaf, right? That they started just letting kids pass to the next grade for social reasons. So you're functionally retarded. You're operating on a 2nd grader's understanding of the world, but you're in 7th grade because, we don't want to make you feel like a retard. We graduate functional illiterates hand over fist in this country. 60% of adults living in America right now can't read the first page of a Harry Potter book. That's real. That's real. It's not a joke. See what I mean? And you can see it. There's like, all you have to do is just read the comments as they scroll by. Literal brain rot. It's soup up there. Because instead of being parents, mom and dad laid a fucking tablet in your lap and let you watch a toilet man run around. Instead of giving you culture, nurturing your interests, they handed you a phone so that you would be quiet. And just read it. It's like people are lining up to prove my thesis. Literal brain rot in the chat. Literal empty-headed brain rot. Okay, Mr. Oxford? I ain't even talking about fucking college, bro. We haven't even gotten to can read a Harry Potter book. College is out of the question. Yeah. We're not even talking college, homeboy. We're talking literal second grade level reading. Yikes. I like your hair. See what I mean? This motherfucker put an apostrophe. You feel me? Just out of nowhere. Didn't need to. You can't tell me that motherfucker picked up a book and can read it. You see what I mean? It's like an object lesson in real time. All you really need is mathematics. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Kids are doing great at that too. Kids are awesome at math these days. Just kidding. I like your hair. Yeah. You can't tell me that motherfucker can pick up a Harry Potter book, but they're on a phone interacting with other human beings out here. You feel me? Smartphones everywhere and people are still dumb as dirt. Yeah. Dumber than dirt. Dumber than dirt. Dumber now than ever, and getting dumber as we speak. More dumbasses being born by the second. Two dumbasses. So 2 dumb stoopies that were socially promoted through school. Right now, as I'm speaking, are doing the bump and grind. And their progeny is going to be stupider than they are. The future looks bleak, ladies and gentlemen. The future looks bleak. Look at this. That must out there in the country where you are at, that dummies are. You can't tell me that motherfucker could pick up 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish, and read it all the way through. I swear to God, dude, I'll eat my shoe if that motherfucker could read 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish, all the way through. I'll eat my shoe. But out here interacting like an adult. Can't read, can't write. That's like the measure of a civilized human being. Can read, we can write, we can learn from other people's minds despite them not being right in front of us. We can pick up a book. You see? Can't do it. But trying to talk to other grown-ass people. And it's like, the only way you can identify these people is by the fact that they just type gibberish. They're incapable of typing anything that isn't absolutely gibberish. Can we fix this? No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Bots chose a fine time to swarm. Yeah, they're driving, having kids, out there standing in line behind you. It's cooked. And it ain't on the kids either. I ain't blaming the dumbasses running around. The little fucking skibs. It's on the parents. It's on the dumbass parents that lazied out on their child and gave them a tablet so they'd shut up. It's on them. Your gen didn't want to help. Hey, don't look at me, bitch. I'm 2 generations behind this. It's like you're starting to blame the medieval fucking generation at this point, bro. You want to take it all the way back. Take a little ownership of your own dumbassery. You're cooked. Right? You're cooked. I don't know what to tell you, man. You want to be mad at somebody, be mad at your parents. They failed your ass. Big time. Should have took an interest in you. I'm a thief? How am I a thief? How you figure I'm a thief? No, unban him. Unban him. He's playing with my food. How you figure I'm a thief? I'll let you one guy me for a minute. How you figure I'm a thief? Where you at? Yeah. Imagine showing people back in the 80s who were talking about how, like, by the year 2000, we were going to have robots and flying cars doing everything for us, right? And just showing them Skibbity Toilet and then walking away. You pull out an iPad and you go like, you're not going to get any of that. Here's what you're going to get. And you hand them an iPad and they're like, whoa! And then you hit play and it's Skibbity Toilet. And then you just take it from them and you go back into the time machine and disappear. Man, the frogs are going crazy today. They're loving this rain. Yes. Yes, I saw the Minecraft blow-ups. I saw the phalanx of lost young people screeching at corporate slop. Literal autistic screeching at the top of their lungs at abject corporate slop. Oh no, they don't. Brrr. Brrr. Skibbity bop bop bop. Yes, yes. Are you a wizard? Are you a wizard? I am Steve. Throwing popcorn like they don't, like fucking somebody is gonna have to come pick that shit up. They ought to trap every one of them little skibbities in that theater and be like, yo little bitch asses are mopping up all this jizz, puke, snot rockets and popcorn that's all over this motherfucker. It's gonna be spick and span. That's what them little skibbities need. Them little skibbities need a firm hand. Mom and dad just hand them the tablet. Oh, little Jeffrey's acting up again. Jeffrey, please. All right, go get the tablet. Fuck you.